Danny Segura for MMA Junkie. I'm here with Pearl Gonzalez, who is coming off her boxing debut, a successful boxing debut at Gamebred Boxing 2 this past weekend. Pearl, first of all, congrats on the victory. How are you feeling?
I am feeling amazing. Thank you so much for having me on. I'm feeling good. I had a successful debut, as you said. It was really fun, very different experience than I anticipated it to be. But I'm eager. I'm eager to get back to the gym. I'm here in Chicago. I'm getting ready to board my flight in a couple hours to go back home and get back to work. I just want to get better.
Yeah, back home is now in Brooklyn, right? In New
I
York?
actually moved again. I moved back to
Oh, okay.
so I'm
Where are
back.
you now?
I'm back in San Diego. I'm back with
Mhm.
my home gym and team, 10th Planet San Diego. So it's actually, I've been there for the last 5 weeks. I moved back, and it's been an interesting 3 weeks for us. August 6th, my teammate Juliana Miller won the Ultimate Fighter. August 12th, my teammate Alima McFarland won her Bellator fight. And then this past weekend was my time to shine. So it's been a good week for us back home.
Yeah, the gym's killing it for sure. So talk to me about this boxing venture. Obviously, we know you from the mixed martial arts world, and last year you had a couple fights in bare knuckle. Now you're switching to the boxing world. Tell us, why did you decide to take on boxing?
It started originally with the bare knuckle, and bare knuckle came about because back in 2021, I tore my MCL for the fifth time. And
Oh,
fifth time that I tore it, it tore completely off the bone. And I did it during grappling, of course. And I needed to have surgery, and I had been training very hard for maybe 8 months, hoping to get an MMA fight. And I wasn't ready to have surgery and go under the knife yet. So I decided to do boxing. I could still box, I could run, I just couldn't grapple. And so that was kind of the start of it. And I also had some insight that the division was growing. They were also signing Paige and Rachel at the same time.
mhm.
So it was a great opportunity. I really wanted either of those fights. So it was timing, and I was able to do it without having surgery. And man, it brought so many blessings because it led me to training alongside Amanda Serrano for the last year and a half.
Yeah, for sure. I've seen that on your social media, and Amanda Serrano's career has taken off. And I guess that's when you decided to move to Brooklyn, right?
No, so I moved before she signed with MVP,
Oh,
and
okay.
as soon as I had that injury, I had decided to go out there. We'd followed each other for the last couple years on our social media, and we were supportive of each other. And so I had asked, it would be an honor to train with you, and she was super welcoming. I mean, her and her coach, they put me in their home for the week. They put me up. I mean, they took me around New York. It was just a really amazing experience. And so I hit them up like 10 days later, and I was like, can I move out there? And they're like, you're weird and crazy, but sure. And man, in like less than a week, I had all of my stuff packed up in San Diego and was on my way to New York.
Yeah. Is she still out in Bushwick?
She's still in Bushwick. Yes, she's been there her whole life. I don't think she'll leave. She
Mm.
buy a new home though in Puerto Rico, so who knows? Maybe she'll retire and go to Puerto Rico.
Okay, nice. Yeah, I used to interview Amanda. I lived in Bushwick like many years ago. Well, not many years ago, like a couple years ago, I moved to Miami, but I lived in Bushwick for some time, and yeah, I interviewed her back when she was dabbling in MMA. She had a couple fights in Combate Global, so I'm so happy for her that her career is blowing up because she's been at the top of the world for a long time. It just took a really long time for the world to notice, and here she is, headlining events at MSG. So great for her. And
Absolutely.
talk to me about this boxing. We've seen you again dabble in bare knuckle boxing. Obviously, you have a long history in mixed martial arts. Is boxing now your new venture? Is this something that we can expect Pro Gonzalez to compete in for a long time?
I think right now, yeah, it's definitely the priority. I've put a lot of effort and work into my boxing for the last year and a half. However, I had surgery back in December, and my knees healed up. I've given it plenty of time to kind of, heal completely before I tried pushing it to grapple. I've taken 2 classes so far, and when I get home tomorrow, I plan on trying it out and seeing where I go in the grappling. I've been a grappler my whole life, And it's a part of me that a way that I express myself that I haven't been able to. And so I miss it. I miss grappling. I miss MMA. It's always been my passion and my love. But as of right now, yeah, the priority is boxing. I can 100% box, and it's been a focus of mine. I've fallen in love with it. You would think with just 5 punches, and I believe that a lot of us MMA fighters believe like it's just hands. God, there's so many intricate things that go into boxing details. I mean, it's a battle of centimeters, in some instances. And so it's been a really, really interesting experience to stay focused on solely boxing when you're used to kind of training everything.
Yeah, for sure. And is BKFC bare knuckle boxing, is that done with?
That's done. Yeah, I had
Okay.
a great time, man. I appreciate Dave Feldman and all he did for me. The money was great over there. There's a girls that I legitimately don't like, but yeah, I wanna move on, and try boxing. I mean, the only way they can get me there is if Britain Hart and they offer me the right amount of money. I will absolutely beat her ass again for that reason. But yeah, I want to move on. I want to
Mhm.
move on to boxing and see how this goes.
And what about mixed martial arts? Is that done with as well, or you plan on continuing fighting there?
I would love to. Ideally, in a perfect world, if I could finish my competitive career doing both MMA and boxing, that would be ideal for me. I haven't tested my knee enough. I haven't tested my body enough yet in MMA to really know how I will do, and where the sport is at this point. I mean, it's evolving faster than it ever has. And so being away for the last 2 years, I need to catch up. And
Yeah.
got to find out though, and test my knee, test my body. The one thing I will not do anymore is force my body to do anything. I've done that for too long. Like I said, this is the 5th time I tore this particular ligament in my knee. I've torn other ligaments in this knee, and I've healed it all without having surgery. And so now that I'm here, I'm in a different place. My body is really letting me know whether or not I can or cannot do something, and I'm going to listen to it.
Yeah. And as far as career wise in mixed martial arts, last time we saw you was with Invicta. Are you still in contract with them, or are you a free agent?
No, I finished my contract with them last right around the time that my bare knuckle contract came about, and no, I'm done. It was an amazing experience. Shannon, Invicta, they really did give me a second win, a second life, so to speak, in my MMA career. I think that after being cut from the UFC, that was really tough on me, because I didn't know if I really belonged in the sport, and Invicta really did give me that opportunity to kind of just reinvigorate myself, reinvigorate my career, really affirm that I am meant for this sport. I'm meant for mixed martial arts. I'm meant for combat sports, period. And I'm so grateful for the opportunity. I had an amazing time over there, but I want to move on. And there are other organizations out there.
Yeah, yeah, for sure. But obviously, as you mentioned, like boxing is going to be your priority. So I'm assuming it's going to be a must wherever you go, MMA wise. It's got to be somewhere that allows you to box as well.
Absolutely. I mean, unless it's the big show and it's a big opportunity, then that's a different story. But yes, I want to box. I want to test it out. But I'm open to opportunities. I'm not going to close down anything.
Mhm.
I'm not going to set any limitations on myself. If an opportunity comes in one sport or the other, a bigger opportunity, then I want that. The bottom line is I want fights. I want real fights. I think that was the one great thing about bare knuckle is I got to have some real wars, some real fights where I legitimately didn't like Britain. She didn't like me. We were really fighting in there. And man, I live for those. I want those. I don't need to prove to myself anything. I've been in this sport long enough to know where I stand as far as toughness and that sort of thing. But I want wars. I want blood. I want boogers. I want it all. I want to screaming back and forth. And so wherever I can get those opportunities for the right amount of money, the best financial opportunity for myself is where I will go.
That's interesting. And you mentioned the big show, right? Like maybe a few years ago, that would be an exclusive thing. Speaking as far as like UFC, but nowadays, I mean, you know it. There's tons of places, tons of options for fighters. So, when you mentioned big show, I mean, are you interested in promotions such as PFL, Bellator, and these other organizations? One Championship. I mean, there's so many now.
Yeah, there is. I mean, and they pay very, very well. And at the end of the day, that's really important. You know, I've put a lot of years into this sport. I put a lot of years into marketing myself and building my brand and my name. And so the financial aspect is a big deal as far as that decision. But when you look at someone like the UFC, the one thing that you cannot compete with as far as these other organizations, maybe they can financially, is they cannot compete with that platform and the
Hmm.
amount of leverage they have with their platform and their name. And so it all depends, you know, and with that platform that can outweigh some
Yeah.
financial things. So it all depends. Again, whatever opportunity presents itself. If there's another combat sport that shows up that I haven't tried, hey, I might try a different one. I mean, I'm all for trying as many different combat sports as I can before it's time to hang the gloves up.
Hmm. And you're 36. You mentioned how you've had some injuries. Overall, how does the body feel more or less? How long do you see yourself doing this?
Yes, I am 36. I'm older. I think that I've got maybe, 2, 3 years. I don't want to push this into my 40s. I think that there are other areas in my life and other talents that I can do inside the sport. I think that I will always be a part of the sport. This is just something I'm most passionate about. But my body overall feels good. I've been fortunate to have really taken care of myself throughout these years as far as my diet, my lifestyle. I didn't party like crazy. I lived a pretty boring life, to be quite honest. I've just really focused on my training these last 12 years. And so my body's held up aside from my knee that was giving me a hard time. But like I said, I mean, I had tore it 6 times and didn't have surgery. It wasn't until this point where I really wanted to get back to the grappling that I decided to have surgery. This is my first surgery. This is my biggest injury that I've had that really needed my attention. And so I feel good. I feel great actually. I mean, when I'm not pushing my body anymore past where it wants to go and where it can go, I understand that very well at this age. And so yeah, as long as my body's in good condition, I'm gonna continue to push it in combat sports.
Yeah, for sure. And boxing wise, you obviously just fought this past weekend at Gamebred Boxing. Do you have like a multi-fight contract with them? Like, are you expected to return later this year with them, or what's it like as far as your boxing future?
It was a one on with
Hmm.
them, but I'm very very close to them and the promotion. I commentate for Icon
Yep.
for
Hmm.
Gamebred, so they're amazing, and they really do take care of me and they treat me well. And so I just if I can get a boxing fight next month, that's what I want. That's ideal for me, is to fight again next month. And who knows, maybe I make a return to MMA in October, November. Like that would be in a perfect world for me. That's kind of where I'd like to go and just test that. I want to test that water sooner than later, just to kind of see what direction I'm going in. But if I can get a fight next month, that's definitely the goal for boxing.
For sure. I mean, it sounds like you're very optimistic about your fighting future. I mean, you have tons of options. It sounds like you're at a very good place health wise. Well, Pearl, I appreciate you coming on here to talk to us. Congrats again on your boxing debut, and looking forward to what's next for you in combat sports. Right? It seems again so many options, so many doors available for you.
It is. I'm in a very amazing place, as far as I'm a free agent. I'm not tied to anybody right now, anywhere. I think this is probably the first time in my career that I've actually had this opportunity to kind of just see where this takes me. And yes, I'd love. Hopefully, the next time we talk, I had a crazy war and it was an amazing fight. And yeah, it went viral.